Welcome to the next video where I will be talking about how to verify demand for if there's demand for your product in your market. So once again, guys, this is Josh Shogun from PassionToPaychecks.com, and that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. So this might be kind of a long, detailed video because I'm going to be going through a lot of stuff, covering a lot of material in this. Actually, you can see right here, this is what we're going to be talking about today in today's video. We're going to be talking about different ways that we can check the demand, the level of demand that there is in each in the market that we have by using all these different tools that we have in front of us right here. So there's quite a bit of different things, methods or processes or strategies that we can use to find out the demand for our product. I like to use a bunch of them to get a much broader, more in-depth picture of what our market demand looks like. So that's what we're going to be doing today. The first thing I want to talk about is that that it doesn't take any tools, doesn't take any websites or anything like that. It's just for you to think about your niche. Think about what niche your product is in. Is it one that will lead itself to being purchased a lot? As in, is this a passion niche? Is this something that people are willing to spend a lot of money on because it's what they like to do? For example, I mean, if you're selling kiteboards, sales or something like that, people that love to kiteboard are willing to spend that extra money, a lot of money, to buy their kiteboard sales, as long as it's a good product. If it's a good product, they're willing to fork up a lot of money to buy those sales because they're passionate about kiteboarding. So you kind of get where I'm going. So if it's something that people could be passionate about, that's usually a good market to get into because people like to spend a lot of money on their passions. Another thing you can think about is that is this an item that someone is going to need, or is this an item that someone's going to want? For example, you can kind of think of it as like, if someone, let me think, I'm just trying to think of some ideas right off the top of my head. If someone, let's say you're wanting to sell bath mat. People generally need bath mats. They don't want to slip on their the bottom of their bathtubs when they're taking a shower, so they need something down there that will make it so they can grip the ground and they will not slip when it gets wet. They more than likely will need one of these. Now when they go out and need one of these, they're going to go and try to buy it from Amazon. So your item is something that someone's going to need. So there's always going to be demand for products that someone's going to need. Now if you're going to sell something like let me think, like a water bottle or something. Not everyone needs a water bottle. I mean, there's going to be people that want water bottles, and there's good demand for water bottles, obviously, but I'm saying there's a difference between a want product and a need product, and if your product falls under the need part, it's more than likely going to sell more than a want product. I mean, that's just something you can kind of think about. And just like, will people spend money on your product? Is this a niche that people have a lot of money in? Are the people that buy these products more likely going to be wealthier on the wealthier side, or are they going to be poor people that don't have enough money to usually buy something like this? So it's a lot of things to think about, but you can definitely figure out a lot about the demand for your product just by thinking about it. So the other things we're going to be doing is determining whether or not your product is seasonal. That's something you can kind of do in your own head, but we're going to be using Google Trends to figure that out. We're going to be using Amazon's bestseller rankings, eBay, Google's monthly searches for the product, and we're going to check monthly searches in Amazon with merchantwords.com. Jungle Scout down at the bottom is a paid option. I'm going to be covering that separately in a different video, so we can just kind of ignore that for right now. But so these are all things I'm going to be going over in this video, so let's get into it. Just to let you guys know, I'll be using silicone baking mats as an example product throughout this video. I've been kind of using silicone baking mats as an example for a couple items or a couple times throughout the article that I've been doing, so I figured I might as well continue on the trend and use silicone baking mats as the example in this video as well. So let's get right into it and start checking out the product demand for silicone baking mats. Okay, so the first thing we're going to try to determine whether the product is seasonal or not. So what we're going to do is go over here to Google Trends right here, and type in silicone, if I can spell it right, silicone baking mat, and see what comes up. Okay, so we can kind of see it's looking seasonal more in December, but this also could just be Christmas. People buying a lot of these during the Christmas season. So just by looking at this, there are some large spikes, which generally means that it's seasonal. But you more than likely are going to see spikes in the December months on products, because obviously that is when Christmas is. The product trend's going up, which is good to see. Let's just see what the forecast looks like. Alright, so just by looking at this, I mean, it could be, I mean, obviously it is seasonal. By looking at this, in the winter months is seasonal, but I mean that's kind of expected. Some products, like if you're going to do like a wakeboard or something related to the water sports, it's going to be seasonal in the summer months, because that's when people are going to be using those products. So I mean, sometimes you can kind of think about it, but in this, it's kind of hard to tell because it's spiking in December, which is more than likely pretty common for a lot of products. I could probably consider this not seasonal. I mean, think about it. A silicone baking mat. People are going to be buying those year round. There's no really major seasons for it. I mean, maybe for like baking cookies and holiday goods like that, baked goods, could be something sort of a season, but I wouldn't be too worried about this. So we can kind of see it's sort of seasonal, but like I said, think about the product. It's probably not too seasonal. Let's go back here. What else we got to look at? We determine if it's seasonal or not. Next thing we're going to do is determine the demand by using Amazon's bestseller rank. So we're going to head on over to Amazon and type in silicone baking, I can't type, baking mat in home and kitchen. Okay, so we're going to come down here and we're going to click on this, scroll down to the product details area right here. So what we're going to do is come down here to product details. Once we come here, we're going to come down here, Amazon's bestseller rank, and this is where we're going to get the bestseller rank for the product. So this is the #1 selling silicone baking mat. As you guys can see, it's 25 in kitchen and dining, which is really good. This is probably selling a ton of units each day. It's #1 in baking mats, and it's #10 in kitchen utensils and gadgets. So this is ranking very well in a lot of searches on Amazon, and I can assume that this is selling very well. So this is the first product. What I like to do is go through each one of these products and kind of just make sure that at least a couple of them are selling within the top 5,000 of the main category niche. So let's go to the next one, Amazon bestseller rank. So around 1,400 in kitchen and dining. Obviously you guys can tell it's a big difference from 25 in kitchen and dining to over 1,400 in the kitchen and dining just from the second one. So that #1 item right here, this #1 item is definitely the major seller, the major player in this market. Probably part of the reason is because they're selling 2-packs. Actually, they're selling 2-packs too. So I don't know. It's interesting. Just go to another one. So 174 in kitchen and dining. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of people buying these silicone baking mats. So 16,000. That's kind of a ways out. Let's see this one. 2,700 almost. Okay, so let's just go back to this first one. So what I like to do is just go through each of the listings on the first page and kind of see what each thing is compared to the Amazon bestsellers rank right here. I usually like to see 2 or 3 products under 5,000 bestseller rank in the main category. And when I say main category, that is within the kitchen dining category. It's usually the category that they have listed first. These right here are all subcategories: bakeware, baking tools, accessories, baking mats. So as you can see, kitchen dining. This is the main category right here, and this is where we want to see where the bestseller rank under 5,000, with at least 2 or 3 products on the first page. So as you guys can see, just by the first couple products I picked that I clicked on, this is definitely selling plenty of units, and there's definitely a lot of demand for these silicone baking mats on Amazon just by looking at the bestseller rank. So Amazon bestseller rank, definitely a check on this one. We can tell that there's a lot of demand for silicone baking mats on Amazon, so that's definitely a good thing to see. Next we're going to use is eBay to kind of determine the demand overall in the market, not just on Amazon but overall online. So we're going to head on over to eBay. What we're going to do is type in silicone baking mat, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to advanced. We're going to go down to completed listings, and we're going to show items priced about $5 and up, just to eliminate any small cheap items that sold, because anything above $5 is going to more than likely be a silicone baking mat. So that's why I like to do that. So check completed listings, show items priced above $5, at least for this item. Next, come on down and just press search. What this is going to do is this is going to show you all of the latest completed listings for silicone baking mats, and you kind of see what products sold, which products didn't. You can kind of just get a good feel for seeing what's going on. So I mean, if it's green, that means it's sold. If it's black right here still, that means it didn't sell. So you can sell these sold, that didn't sell, this sold, all these sold. It's actually all selling pretty well. Most of the times it's kind of 50-50 sold versus not sold, and you guys can see a lot of these are being sold. So another thing you kind of pay attention to is the dates right here. These are selling quite a bit each day, and then after this, so you can kind of check out this completed listing section. Another thing you can do is go back to the regular search, so just search silicone baking mats, and instead of doing the completed listings and seeing which one's sold and which one hasn't, another thing you can do is kind of see the major sellers here on eBay. Right here you can see it says right here over 247 have been sold, so that means that a ton of them are being sold. 193 have been sold, 70 have been sold. So it's kind of hard to tell what time frame they're using to determine this, but even seeing that many being sold is a good sign. 174 being sold, 164 sold, 79 sold, 386 sold. So I mean, there's definitely a lot of sellers on this first page of eBay right here making a lot of sales, which I would guess pretty frequently. So it's a good sign to see this many items being sold. 162 items sold. So it's definitely a good sign, and just from this quick test on eBay, we can determine that there's a pretty good demand here on eBay as well as Amazon for silicone baking mats. So that definitely proves that there's demand in this market just by using eBay. Next thing we're going to use is Google's monthly searches. This is kind of, it's not the best way to determine the product demand, but you can still kind of get a good idea by just typing your main product keyword into Google Keyword Planner and see what pops up and see how many monthly searches it gets. Sign in really quick. Okay, so hopefully I don't have to go through everything again. I do. Okay, so silicone baking mat. Like I said, this isn't the best way to determine the demand for a product, but it is a decent way just to get a good idea. You can also kind of tell the overall trend in the market for this. You can kind of tell if it's seasonal or not by looking at the monthly searches. As we notice on Google Trends, December is definitely the hottest month for these, but besides that, it's pretty even. So just by going off the monthly searches from Google's Keyword Planner, we can kind of go to say that we can confirm that this is not really a seasonal product. This is more of a year-round seller, but it gets boosted up within the holiday months of around November, December, January. So that's a good thing to know just by looking at that. Another thing is you guys can just scroll down and take a look at the average monthly searches for each one of these related keywords. 3,600 monthly searches is quite a bit, at least in Google. 1,600 baking molds, baking cups. So I mean, you kind of just have to take these results with a grain of salt, because you have nothing really to compare it to. I mean, you don't know if 3,600 searches a month is that much compared to something else. So you kind of just have to just look at this and take it and not really take try to get too much information from this, because it's kind of hard to read into this, because from doing my own research, I've kind of figured out that Google's keyword planner doesn't really help you out when it comes to demand. It's good to know your demand and the average monthly searches for your keyword, but you could be making a lot of money on a product that's only gets searched for 100 times a month, and you could be losing a lot of money on a product that gets searched for 50,000 times a month. So let me make sure that when I'm saying search for monthly, I'm talking about within Google. I'm not talking about within Amazon, because we're going to be talking about that in a second. But for right now, I'm talking about Google searches for your product. So I mean, kind of take this with a grain of salt. Obviously, if there's more people searching for your product in Google, the higher the demand, and that's basically what I just want to get across to you guys right here. The more people searching for your product in Google, the more people that are going to be coming to Amazon and buying your product, or at least the more potential buyers you will have. So just take this information with a grain of salt, like I said, but it's something good to at least check out before you order your products. So we looked at all of these. Next we want to look at, lastly we want to look at merchant words. And I really like merchant words. What it does is it shows you Amazon's monthly search rate. So instead of what we just looked at as Google's keyword planner, which shows us the amount of monthly searches for a keyword in Google, merchant words will show you the average monthly searches for your product within Amazon. This gives us a much better look at the actual market demand for our product. Since we are going to be selling on Amazon, we might as well see how many people are searching for our product within Amazon. So merchant words lets us do that, and it's actually a really cool tool. So all you do is just type in your main product keyword, search it. What you can do is, I like to get it within the right category. So it's kitchen and dining, home and kitchen actually, okay? And then another thing I like to do is sort it by highest search volume. So once we get that, we get silicone baking mat, Fox Run silicone baking mat full size, silicone baking mat set, and silicone bake mat. So what we'd like to see is that from the top 3 product keywords, so it would be silicone baking mat, Fox Run silicone baking mat, and silicone baking mat full size. We like to see these 3 right here combined for over 100,000 monthly searches. If we can get that, that will verify that there is a high demand for this product within Amazon. Hold on one second, let me take a drink. Sorry about that. Okay, so what that does is that lets us know that there is going to be a good amount of people searching for our product each month, which gives us a lot of people searching for our product, which leads to a lot of people hopefully at least buying our product. So this is a very good tool to use to calculate the demand for our product. And the suggested amount from the top 3 keywords is 100,000. I have not obviously personally tested this, as I'm going through this I'm going through this process right now for myself. But from what I've researched and from what I found from other people, they like to say the 100,000 mark is a good mark to try to reach for. As you guys can see, the silicone baking mat falls short a little bit, but there could be a lot of we can't see any of this because I haven't bought the actual, I haven't paid for the merchant word, so we miss out on a lot of these keywords right here. But I have a feeling that there's a lot of related smaller monthly search for keywords related to silicone baking mats that would make up a lot of searches, and that would probably get it pretty close to at least 80,000-90,000. So I wouldn't be too worried about it if I was actually going to be selling silicone baking mats, because we've already seen from eBay and Amazon that there's a lot of demand just by looking at the Amazon bestseller rank and the completed listings on eBay. So that's why using all these tools together can kind of help you balance. It's kind of like a check and balance. If one shows something but the other 2 shows something else, you can kind of take the one that's showing something else with a grain of salt. because the other two are showing you something promising, even though the other one isn't showing you something so good. So that's why I like to use a bunch of these tools to kind of get a bigger picture, and instead of just using one source, we use a couple different sources to get a more defined picture of the market. So that's what I want to talk about in today's video. I wanted to show you guys how the best way I would think to go through and verify that there is demand for your product. Merchant words, I would say, is probably one of the most important and vital things to use to check to verify your demand, because it's going straight from the source. I mean, this is telling you exactly how many people are searching for your product within Amazon, which is exactly the information that we need to know as Amazon sellers. So I would definitely take merchant words pretty seriously when you're using that as a metric to determine the product demand. I would also think that using Amazon's bestseller rank as a very good way to determine how many people are wanting to buy a certain product. I mean, with this right here, with this product right here being 25 within number 25 bestseller rank within kitchen and dining, that alone tells me that this thing is selling a ton of units each day, and I don't need merchant words, keyword planner, eBay, or anything to tell me otherwise, because I know for a fact if it's the 25th bestseller in kitchen and dining, which is a huge category, this specific silicone baking mat is selling a ton of units each day and making a lot of money for whoever owns this exact product. So just from knowing that information alone, we can determine that there's enough demand in this product to enter it. But I also just like to use every other tool such as eBay, keyword planner, and merchant words together to get basically get a more concrete image of the product demand for this specific product. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was probably a little bit longer than I had liked, but I wanted to go in depth and explain each specific tool that we would use to find and verify the product demand in a market. So hope you guys enjoyed it. There'll be a couple more videos in this article, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you all enjoyed. So until the next video, talk soon.